A very good day to you. A good morning, actually, if you're listening to us from London. If you're listening to us from around the world, a very good day to you. Hope your day is going absolutely amazing. If you've had a rough week, well, I want to remind you that the weekend is here, okay? So it doesn't matter how hard you've had it. You hung on for so long, and it's finally Friday, and you get 2 days for yourself. And I just want to remind you to take some time for yourself. Enjoy life, okay? Find little things to celebrate, find little moments in your life to celebrate, and live your best life, because I think that's literally all that matters, okay? So take some time for yourself. You definitely deserve it. It doesn't matter what you were able to accomplish and what you were not able to accomplish. What matters is for you to, live your best life and celebrate the most important moments of your life. With that being said, I want to say welcome back to the show. This is, of course, the Chat Trap on Relax Radio. I am Jamie, and I'm here to talk to you about all things interesting that is going on here in London and around the world as well. And I, of course, want to give you a little update on the happenings of Afghanistan, okay? I just want to give you an update about what is happening. The stories are getting more horrific by the second, and apparently US led evacuations from Kabul airport in Afghanistan enter the final stage of following the devastating twin bomb attacks. Now, you, of course, already know about the bomb attacks that happened in Afghanistan. The suicide attacks targeted people queuing to flee the country after Taliban militants returned to power, okay? 90 people have been killed, and most of them are Afghan civilians and 13 US military personnel. Now, US President Joe Biden has promised to hunt down the perpetrators, the jihadist group ISK, and the evacuations and foreign troop withdrawals are designed to be completed by the 31st of August, which is the deadline that was agreed with the Taliban. Now, apparently, Kabul hospitals are overwhelmed by the wounded, because you have doctors and nurses that are working so hard in Kabul through the night to treat about 150 people who were injured in Thursday's double bomb attack near the airport. Okay, so apparently hospitals are already struggling with fewer staff since Taliban took over a week ago, but now it's absolutely chaotic apparently in Kabul. And the Kabul Surgical Center, run by the International Medical Charity Emergency, said that it had received 60 wounded cases in less than 2 hours, including at least 16 people pronounced dead on arrival. This to me is, it's beyond horrifying. Okay, this is so many people that are already, that they were in the airport because they wanted to flee the country, hoping for a better life. They were hoping for a better life, and then they had to, end up in hospitals, either dead or severely injured. Now, I don't even know what to say, because it's truly so horrifying to hear the situation that's going on in Kabul. Apparently hospitals are overflowing, and despite all of the attacks, the final evacuations are set to resume even after the deadly attacks. And apparently, US said to complete evacuations despite the attack, according to President Biden. President Joe Biden said that US airlift from Kabul will continue, and it wouldn't stop despite the jihadist attack that killed over 90 people, including 13 of the US service members. At this point, I'm not going to lie to you, and I don't know if I'm allowed to say this, but at this point, I feel like everything President Biden says is sounding really, really hypocritical and really ironic at this point. And, he said, we must complete this mission, and we will. Then he vowed to hunt down the perpetrators, like I told you. Now, up until today, more than 100,000 people have been evacuated from Afghanistan, which fell to the Taliban on the 15th of August. But apparently, many more Afghans have been rushing to the airport ahead of the 31st August deadline for the US forces to leave. Okay. That's basically the situation. I saw some pictures from yesterday after the bomb attack, after the twin bombs exploded near the perimeter of the Kabul airport, and the pictures were the pictures were insane, okay? And there were people, it was just so sad to see those pictures and scenes from the attack. And this actually happened after hours of warning from Western governments. But Thursday's attacks have happened at about 1:30, if I'm not mistaken, and the first targeted the Abbey Gate was where the US and British forces have been processing people entering into the airport, okay? And it was also followed by gunfire, and minutes later the second blast occurred at a hotel that is being used by British officers to process Afghans hoping to travel to the UK. So that's basically what's been happening. I have more updates to give you, so make sure that you keep it tuned right here on Relaks Radio. Right now, though, we're going to head on off into a little break.
The valuations that you place on an asset are always behind you. It's always in hindsight. It's never in front of you. And that's one of the challenges, right? Because you're always valuing what happened yesterday. And what you need is what's going to happen tomorrow. What am I saving or investing for? Why am I doing it? When will I need the money? And how much money do I need? Yeah. So that's quite important, because when you're looking at your net worth, you got to start with saying, well, what do I want my net worth to be, so that there's a goal, and then work backwards. How do I get there? And if I can start with £50 or $50 a week, if I save that every week, and you can go online and use calculators online. I don't have to teach you the maths behind it, but you can say, okay, and if I get a 3% return and I put this away for how long will it take to reach my goal? And that's called just this basic cash flow projection calculations. And it's what we use in financial planning all the time. What we say to clients is we say, okay, what is your goal? What is your objective? Where do you want to go to? And we discuss that in a lot of detail and over most of the meeting. And then the rest of it is saying, okay, in your exact circumstances, with your risk profile, with how you feel about investments and pensions and taxes and where you are and who you work with, and your education level or your lack of education or how involved you want to be. There's a lot of variables that we take into account, and then we say, okay, here's a plan. You start like this, that's great. And then we review it all the time. And we say, okay, we need to increase it, we're on track, we're not, this is what is happening. Because remember, when you're dealing with assets, the valuations that you place on an asset are always behind you. It's always in hindsight. It's never in front of you. And that's one of the challenges, right? Because you're always valuing what happened yesterday, and what you need is what's going to happen tomorrow. So that's a struggle. Yeah. So there are strategies everywhere from £50 a week up to £100 million, and they're different. Right? They range differently from everyone, but and from country to country, to be fair. Different countries have different tax laws, so with different vehicles. But from your point of view, at the sort of normal end, I'm not going to call it the low end because I'm in that boat as well. It's as tax efficient as you can get it. That's where you start. You use all the tax efficiencies, and then you step up into different things.
A very good morning to you and welcome back to the show. We've been talking about the horrifying events that is happening in Kabul in Afghanistan. And I gave you a little update of what happened with regards to the bombings, the twin bombings, and what happened after that as well. And if you want to be a part of the conversation, it's super simple. All you got to do is make sure that you leave a comment down below and let me know what you are thinking. We've been talking about Afghanistan, and I have so many other things that I want to tell you, I want to share with you. So make sure that you keep it tuned right here on Relax Radio. Before we get back into the conversation, I want to remind you really quick that you can be a part of the conversation, and how you can do that is by calling us on 07852473473, or by leaving a comment down below if you're listening to us on our social media platform. With that being said, I also want to remind you to go check us out on our social media platforms, that is Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, TikTok, Twitch, Periscope, basically all of the social media platforms. We go as Relax Radio, and we want you to go join us and show us some love and share with us whatever it is that you want. With that being said, let's get back into the conversation with regards to Afghanistan. I told you about the Thursday's events. That's yesterday what actually happened, and it's actually really horrifying because apparently Kabul's hospitals are overwhelmed by the wounded, and it's so scary to know what's going on in Kabul now. Despite all of that, you do know that the a hotel where UK officials were residing in is where the second bomb happened. But despite all of this, around 1,000 to be flown out of Afghanistan today, according to the UK Defense Secretary. Now, the UK has entered the last stages of its evacuation operations at Kabul, and the Secretary of Defense Ben Wallace actually said that the final approximately 1,000 people were being processed for evacuation and would be flown out on Friday following this. That is today, okay? Wallace also told BBC that some of the British Army's equipment would be destroyed or left behind in order to create more space for evacuees, which I think is at least something good that's happening. But the question on everybody's mind is, who is ISK? Okay, so ISK basically is Islamic State Khorasan actually, and apparently they were the ones that were responsible for the twin blasts at Kabul airport that killed about 90 and injured more than 150 people. Okay, but everybody's asking, what is this group? What are their objectives? And according to the BBC security correspondent, I think it was Frank Gardenier, said that the group is the most extreme and violent of all jihadist militant groups in Afghanistan. Okay, apparently it is a regional affiliate of the big group that call themselves the Islamic State and is active in Afghanistan and Pakistan. And the group has been blamed for some of the worst attacks in recent years, together with the twin blasts that happened yesterday. Now, it's been targeting girls' schools, hospitals, and even maternity wards for pregnant women. Infants and nurses were shot dead, okay, by this group that is calling themselves the ISK, and they are part of the global IS network that seeks to carry attacks on Western, international, and humanitarian targets whenever they can reach them. ISK, of course, have links to the Taliban through a third party. It's called the Haqqani network, but that's basically what's happening. And they've major differences with the Taliban because the Taliban are being accused them of abandoning jihad and battlefield in favor of negotiated peace settlement. So IS fighters now represent major security challenge for the incoming Taliban government, of course. That's basically what's happening. It's so sad to see there's Taliban, who are already said by some to be a terrorist organization that's supposed to take the reins of governance in Afghanistan. And apart from that, we also got ISK, or Islamic State Khorasan, who are responsible for the twin blasts that happened in the perimeters of the Kabul airport just yesterday. So that's truly scary. And I have so much empathy towards the people of Afghanistan. They not only have to deal with a government, with a violent government, with the Taliban basically, but they also have to deal with an additional terrorist group that are apparently against the Taliban now, is what's being said. But of course, we don't know for sure, but that's basically it. There are so many missing children, and it's so sad. I saw tweets of people saying, look, these people are missing after the death deadly attack, and the family and friends are urging people to call anyone that have any clue about these children. And I'm just looking at the picture of two children that are being said to be missing after the whole attack. Oh, it's so sad actually what's happening, but it is what it is. And I just want to keep you updated with regards to all of this. So make sure that you keep it tuned right here on Relax Ready for more updates. And yeah, make sure that you follow us on our social media platforms